It's interesting. We were just reflecting right before we started recording on like what is coming up for you. And the thing that I mentioned is how shocked I am by how many people are lugging their suitcase of suffering around and not accessing joy. And joy is a choice. You see those all the time. Like you go into little shops and it's like, choose joy. And we were using AI to write some content as we do. And AI always offers me choose joy. And so I was working with my team and I said, whenever AI offers us choose joy, we change it. Because my whole philosophy is like, sometimes like it doesn't feel like you can just choose joy in your circumstances. Sometimes you have to be responsible to bring it. And that's why I wrote my book, Bring the Joy. It was like, man, I wouldn't choose these circumstances. This doesn't feel joyful. There doesn't seem to be any joy. So I'm just gonna be the one to bring the joy. Like that's our responsibility.
Are you comfortable sharing the story behind your first book?
Oh my gosh, yeah. So it's a memoir. And it started off as following the nudges of what led me to now being with my husband, Hot Ronnie, who if you've met him, seen him, he's hot, not handy. This incredible human who I thought was an asshole. And his story in itself is a book, which I was like, honey, you gotta write the story. But it was about me falling through on these nudges that were really uncomfortable for me because he was like the hot guy and I was like the nerdy girl. And I would go into meetings in our office because we worked together and be like, this is how it needs to be done. And he's like, you've never done this before, you just started. And I'm like, no, I'm smarter than you. Like it was quite tumultuous.
Yeah.
But then in the process of writing the book, I quit my job, got pregnant with my daughter. 3 months later, after my daughter was born, 3 months later, I got pregnant with our son. And I had dream pregnancies for the most part. And when I had deliveries, I'd walk to the hospital, like, I'm gonna deliver. I'm like, here's the plan, 3 pushes, baby comes out. I head home, watch playoff hockey, sit in a padsicle, Bob's your uncle. Like, I mean, good labors. And I had no idea that anything was wrong with our second child. And I had finished fundraising for a family locally in our city. They had 2 kids with a rare genetic disease called spinal muscular atrophy. I'd been helping, caring for, working for, loving on this family for 9 years. And my own son, after a myriad of tests, like CTs, MRIs, EKGs, ABCs, XYZs, pokes, prods, he gets a diagnosis, and the diagnosis is spinal muscular atrophy. And when they shared the news, I was like, felt oddly equipped for it because I was like, okay, like I know the kids, I know the SMA, we just did a fundraiser for this accessible van. And what I wasn't prepared was the doctor said, we're really sorry. The pediatric neurologist walks in and she goes, I'm really sorry, very serious. And she'd been serious the whole time. But she goes, I'm really sorry. Your son has a rare genetic disease, spinal muscular atrophy. I'm like, okay, And I'm TikToking going like, okay, handicap van, we've already done a fundraiser. I'm like, will you get the blue handicap? Am I prime parking? I'm going, we live in a bungalow, but we'll maybe need a ramp when the kid's in a wheelchair. Like I'm going through the checklist. I'm going, oh yeah, fast pass at Disney. Like this is beautiful. Like there's all the perks. And she can tell like I'm not computing the severity of it. Like I'm just
processing.
Yeah. And then she goes, I'm really sorry. There's no cure, there's no treatment. And because your son's diagnosed so early and it's so severe, he won't make his first birthday. And our role is just to keep him comfortable until he passes. We can't do anything other than that. And so like, I mean, it just breaks you as a parent, breaks you as a human. And like, I'm somebody that finds a solution. Like you want a solution for a precious diamond company, for an oil and gas, I'll come in because I'm so creative. That's like my superpower. But in this, like, you're just like, there's no solution. There's no like solve. There's no way out. And it broke us. And it was a nudge that I had when my husband and I got out of the room after being in the fetal position, crying your face off. And the nudge was, we're just gonna bring the joy. And that nudge changed our whole world. And I shared it publicly on social media, and our account started to grow, and people from all over started to tune in. And this was before stories, and this was at the early onset of Instagram. And I just said, like, I really hope that they're wrong. I'm gonna pray for a miracle. I'm a person of faith. And I was like, God, now would be a great time to show up and do one of those like walk on water moments.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna bring the joy. And it started with a dance party. And so my book, Bring the Joy, is a memoir of what it looks like when you don't choose your circumstances or it doesn't go as planned, how you can bring the joy. And a lot of that is following through on the nudges that you get. And then the beautiful things that happen after the nudges.
That's A beautiful story. Thank you for sharing that. I know it's not easy to make your way through that. So you're super courageous and brave and awesome. If you don't mind sharing the nudge, I'd like to know just a little bit about like how did you go from the fetal position crying to organizing a dance party?
I wish I mean, I think part of it is like, it was big T trauma, you know, like, cause I was like, I don't have trauma. My therapist was like, oh, you've watched your child die. Like you have been through trauma. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I wish I knew the exact series. What I can remember and piece together from the story was we circled the back of Alberta Children's Hospital. There's a track and it faces west, so you have this beautiful view of the mountains. And we were walking and I just had this nudge and I go to my husband, I'm like, babe. He goes, what? I'm like, babe, let's just bring the joy. And he's like, are you a lunatic? Like, our kid's dying. There's nothing we can do. And he obviously goes, okay, how do you want to do that? Like, we're stuck in the hospital. There's no cure. We're not scientists. We're not medical professionals. Like, how are we going to bring the joy? And in true Jessica Janzen style, I was like, I actually have no idea, but I'm like, I'll figure it out. And I think it was the next day or the day after, you know, one of my best friends came into the room and she brought a Bluetooth speaker and we had 2 toddlers. And if you've watched toddlers dance, like they're hilarious. It's like kind of like a drunk Ellen on Seinfeld.
Or Greg Wells dancing.
Yeah, right?
You might,
Yes. Which now I can't wait for this. I'm like going to find a reason for us to have a dance party. But it was like simply bopping with toddlers. And then it was like, oh gosh, this feels good. And I remember being with Lewiston and he was super limp. When you live with spinal muscular atrophy, you lose the ability. You're missing a gene that reproduces nerves. Nerves are what talk to your muscles. If your muscles aren't moving, they're atrophying. This is your reminder, whatever camera you're looking at, to go move your body if you're in a position that you can. Like, my kid would have given anything to move and couldn't. And most of us who have the ability to move waste it. But in that moment, I just started moving his legs and his arms like a little physio. And we're like, oh, this feels good. And we chose a song, Justin Timberlake, Can't Stop the Feeling. And it was like, in that moment, this is how we bring the joy. You don't choose joy. It's like, oh, hey, your kid's dying. Not like, I'm going to choose joy and it's great. It was like, whoa, okay, radical acceptance of your circumstances. Like, you can't be in denial. Okay, radically accept this is what we're faced with. And then it wasn't choose joy. It was like, man, we got an option here. Do you want to do what the world tells you to do? Like grieving, sad, sorrow, anguish, which we had all those feelings. Or do you want to move into, okay, like, we can be sad, we can have anguish, we can have sorrow, we can have anger, resentment, frustration, all of it. But we also can have pockets of joy, and it's going to be my responsibility to bring it. I'll share this because I think somebody said this to me and it really clicked for me. You walk into a friend's house, like you're going there for dinner, you and your wife, haven't seen them for a while. And when you open up the door and you can feel the energy exchange, like they just had like a domestic, like just the husband and wife epic, and they're just, and then you're like,
pulling
great
it together.
to see you, Greg. So Matt, you've been good. Like, you know the energy, and you can feel tension. You can feel when you walk into a room. And for me, it was like, man, I'm not going to respond to the temperature in the room. I'm going to be the one that sets the temperature in the room. And it's not going to be depressive. It's not going to be like this horrible thing. I'm like, I want people to walk in and feel joy. Because if this is the only time we get with my son, I don't want it to suck the entire time. So that, for me, was the shift, is like, we're going to change the energy and we're going to set the tone for what it looks like.
I love that. And I love the fact that it's not choosing joy, it's bringing joy.
Yeah. There's a big difference.
There's a huge difference there I've never even considered up until this instant.
Unlock, right?
Yeah.